Alright, so what's up guys, it's Matterz, and we actually have a bunch of stuff to talk about within this video. We're going to be talking about the possibility of Mob of the Dead actually being remastered for Black Ops 3 Zombies, a couple different stuff to talk about, especially from that Dr. Monty trailer, especially. Not a lot of leaked information, but more of what we're actually seeing within the game, a lot of connections from Black Ops 3 Zombies, almost in general, to Mob of the Dead, and the fact that we may see some sort of throwback to Mob of the Dead, whether it's in the form of a remaster map, whether it's in the form of sort of this Easter egg for Revelations relating back to the blood vials being used to get there, the Mob of the Dead characters potentially being there, also, you know, Weasel maybe being Dr. Monty. That's going to be a separate video talking about that, sort of debunking that, and also giving evidence to that as well. I'll probably make that a separate video and just sort of talk about Dr. Monty in general, but we're going to touch upon that. I'm also going to talk about the Origins gameplay trailer being 3 years old. That's a huge thing, and then also maybe a Maxis trailer coming soon as well. And what I mean by that, sort of this Maxis memory segment where, you know, a few days ago we finally saw Dr. Monty and we saw what he looks like and we understand like what he's doing now, sort of, at least we understand sort of. He seems evil, but we don't know. Maxis, we still don't know. Like, we've known Maxis forever and we still haven't actually seen him in a huge, or not a huge, but like a full body form. Like, we've seen his face in the Origins intro cutscene, but that's really it. You know, we really don't know what he's doing. We haven't even heard about him. So we're basically gonna be talking about three of those topics, or those three main topics within this video. And yeah, let's get started. If we can go for 500 likes, again, that'd be greatly appreciated. Last night's goal was 500 likes. We hit it. We smashed it with 652 likes. Thank you guys so much for that. 500 likes is our like goal for tonight, and yeah, let's get started. So I just want to quickly start off here with the Origins gameplay trailer. Obviously, I'm going to play it up on screen as we're talking about it, or at least, you know, a couple bits of it and whatnot, because it really is an insane cool trailer. It was released 3 years ago today, August 20th, I'm guessing 2013, and this, I don't know, but hopefully this video is still uploaded on August 20th, but still guys, 3 years ago we saw that trailer, and obviously that was a huge map, and it also makes sense with Revelations. We saw the Origins cutscene trailer, we saw the Origins logo at the end of the trailer, and that's the same logo that we're seeing with Revelations. So we're going to this. If you look at the trailer, obviously you have a lot of really cool stuff. It's the origins of it all, how everything started with these characters and the storyline and all that insane stuff, and all that stuff occurred within Origins, and now we're talking about Origins like remaster maps, stuff within DLC 4 that relates back to Origins, maybe going to DLC 4 Revelations even before Origins. So the fact that we've gone from Origins all the way to this point now, full circle, and another DLC 4 is just absolutely insane. So I just want to put that in there at the beginning. It's just so crazy. But let's talk about something pretty interesting as well, and this could tie into each other, more of storyline stuff with the Mob of the Dead remaster map, or a Mob of the Dead sort of lore within DLC 4, a lot of Mob of the Dead being just like stuff being hinted at within that map, or obviously remaster map as well. But then also talking about the Maxis trailer, seeing Maxis, what's Maxis' role, what's his role within this game, and whether or not it's going to relate to Dr. Monty, what's Dr. Monty going to do, whether or not he's Weasel. So it's all sort of connected. So let's talk about that right now. So Mob of the Dead Remastered again. I think this is sort of coming off of what we saw with the actual trailer. Okay, so throughout Black Ops 3, we have so many hints towards Mob of the Dead, just everything. Like Shazville, you have like the Sal DeLuca sort of little page newspaper things, just so many random things. There was another newspaper for Mob of the Dead on Rock. There was Mob of the Dead planes on like all of these Black Ops 3 zombie maps. A lot of really quotes, crazy quotes hinting back at Mob of the Dead. Obviously during Mob of the Dead, Weasel, I'm pretty sure, was hinting at Nikolai, and then that came full circle within Black Ops 3. We don't know why, but it came full circle. So it's a huge thing, and we've known since the beginning that, you know what, Shazville, Mob of the Dead, same sort of universe. We've been understanding this throughout the whole time. Mob of the Dead blood vials as well being used throughout this game, and they're probably going to be used within DLC 4 to redo time, to have an insurance policy for Richtofen and his goal. So all of that stuff is definitely in the top of our minds. Like, we're really thinking like, okay, there's so much Mob of the Dead evidence coming to DLC 4, going into DLC 4, what's going to happen? So this is coming off, again, the Dr. Monty trailer. Now, Dr. Monty trailer, we saw Dr. Monty finally, and the things that we looked at were obviously his sort of fingerless glove things, and you also had obviously a lot of really just weird sort of scenarios where people are saying, okay, what if there is some crazy connection between Dr. Monty and Weasel from, obviously, Mob of the Dead? And we talked about this, and we were saying, okay, you know what? There was also the Mob of the Dead sound in the trailer. That doesn't mean they're the same person, but again, it's more hints at Mob of the Dead. They had the Mob of the Dead sort of starting round music, if you will, and that's basically what they had there. But again, what I want to say, like I said, I'm gonna make a full video on this, but what I want to say to this, I don't think they're the exact same person. I think the theory is more or less that, you know, Weasel, when he was in that purgatory, if he didn't actually escape the cycle or end the cycle, whatever you want to do with that Mob the Easter egg and cutscene, then basically he would go into a different form. So obviously they're not the exact same person, but Weasel is sort of like reincarnated into this new form as Dr. Monty, and Dr. Monty isn't actually like a human. And it seems as if a lot of people actually have been talking about that as well. I don't honestly think Dr. Monty is an actual person. If you look at the forest as well within Black Ops 3, that forest that we saw, that seems as if like that's the Aether. That's the actual Aether where everyone's just there and there's just no real world. It's just sort of this crazy dimensional thing out in the open, sort of like a Gartha, sort of just like all this insane stuff. I think Monty there is just sort of Weasel's soul or Weasel's brain, or just Weasel in a different form, talking and pushing these characters to do something with these blood vials. I just don't know what's going to happen. Again, that's just a theory, and obviously there's a lot of evidence towards different stuff regarding that. I'm gonna make a separate video about that, but I just want to say, like, it could definitely happen. You know, it could definitely happen. Although people I saw on Reddit were saying, oh, they're obviously not the same person because look at the nose, look at the face, and I don't think like Weasel just took his hat off and then just did some random thing and like reconstructed his face or put a different shirt on and then like, oh, I'm Dr. Monty now. I don't think that's what he did. I think Dr. Monty is just sort of this random being that's in this crazy third dimensional world that has Weasel inside of him, but he doesn't actually look like Weasel because Weasel was trapped in that Mob the Dead purgatory, and now he's basically in a different purgatory with the Origins characters, trying to make the Origins characters do something, and we think he's evil. We're not so sure. A lot of people have been saying he's evil. Whether or not the blood vials relate to Weasel being Mob the Dead, we're not so sure. Again, we'll have some more evidence on this pretty soon. A lot of people have been debunking this, but I still think it's something to think about. Mob the Dead hints all over the place, man, in this game. And again, even within a freaking Dr. Monty trailer, Mob the Dead hints yet again. Think about this, guys. They're doing it for a reason. They don't just give him the same damn gloves as Weasel for no reason. It just, look, they just don't do that, okay? You guys know Treyarch. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think about that. Also, the Maxis trailer. Now, obviously, we have the Dr. Monty trailer, and we sort of learned that Dr. Monty is like trying to push them to do something. If you have to get something, you have to have like some bad experiences before you get good ones, or you have to get some bad stuff done before you get some good stuff done. I don't know, whatever he said. That's basically hinting at what's gonna happen within DLC 4, very vaguely. But Maxis as well. We haven't seen Maxis at all this game, which is such a weird, really weird occurrence. Obviously, we know about Maxis and Rick Hoffman. We know especially about Black Ops 2 Zombies, how they're basically fighting to actually gain control and all this insane stuff, fighting against each other. But Black Ops 3, Maxis hasn't really been around at all. Like, he was there on the Giant with some of the radios and stuff, and Maxis was hinting at like an evil force coming within the Giant. I remember doing these videos back in like November and December talking about Maxis radios, where he basically said like after they would leave the Giant would explode, it would all be gone, like a lot of this crazy stuff would happen, and it was just such a really weird thing for Maxis, and we haven't really heard of him since, you know, like we don't really know what he's doing. And again, like I talked about in the beginning of the video, the fact that we saw Dr. Monty and we just learned about him within Garakrovi, but Maxis, we literally have not seen him throughout the freaking 8 years that we've been having zombies. Like, we've known Maxis forever. Maxis is one of the original guys, but we don't know anything about what he looks like and what he's doing, especially within Black Ops 3, which is supposed to be the end of the storyline, and it's like, well, where the hell is Maxis in this? It doesn't make sense. Obviously, I think, you know, Revelation is going to come out in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks tops. I think it's very possible for us to actually see another trailer, another memory, cinematic trailer of some extent, where we actually see Maxis, and Maxis basically talks about, okay, this is what's occurring, Dr. Monty is evil, I'm going to help Richtofen, or I'm going to side with Dr. Monty, we need to get rid of Richtofen, Richtofen's goal is crazy, or again, Richtofen's goal is good, but I have something else in mind for zombies, I know how we can stop this, you know, crazy madness and whatnot, or it's just a ton of insane stuff. I know how we can bring back 935, or whatever Maxis wants to do, however he wants to end the storyline. I think he will have a huge part into doing that. And again, Maxis, although we may not see something about him moving into DLC 4, I think if we're not going to see him in a trailer or some sort of memories trailer, we're definitely going to see him in the house. There's no way we're not going to see them in the house. Just think about what Samantha said, my father has a plan. There's no way we're not going to actually see what that plan actually is and what was occurring through that time. And obviously we understand what happened with the giant and all that insane stuff, and you can say it's that, but I think going back in time and ending this universe off, not the other one, but this universe off, with Maxis really revealing what he wants to do to actually end this all and stop Monty maybe, or side with Monty, or just do whatever his goal is, help Richtofen, save her, whatever, you know, whatever his goal is. We're actually going to see that within the house with Samantha and with Eddie in that game for the Easter egg ending cutscene, I would say, for DLC 4 Revelations. I think, you know, maybe for the throughout the Easter egg, maybe the intro, but I think that would make perfect sense to see Maxis, to see, you know, Eddie and Samantha within the house, see how that all occurred, and then maybe Dr. Monty is there as well, and it'll be Maxis versus Dr. Monty within that location. I guess, you know, Richtofen would be Eddie. If we're all assuming here that Eddie is Richtofen, I think everyone is assuming that Eddie is Richtofen in the house in the Origins ending cutscene, but just to keep it there, Maxis, Dr. Monty in the house, and then they have their feud or whatever happens there, and the story ends like that. Or again, like we've been saying, a lot of people said, like, they don't think they're gonna have 2 Easter egg ending cutscenes, but what if, you know, you have Maxis's ending cutscene that, you know, goes through with his goal, and then obviously Dr. Monty's that goes through with his goal, and then Richtofen basically decides what he wants to do with his goal, because obviously Richtofen has something very secret he wants to do. Richtofen's been hiding it from the crew, the Origins crew as well, so I just don't know. Maybe Richtofen will say, okay guys, we need to side with this guy, or in another alternate universe, we need to side with the other guy. Whatever happens, man, it's gonna be insane. So I know this was a pretty vague video, but it's definitely interesting to really lay out what the plans are for DLC 4, what could actually happen with these characters. Again, once we get more like actual evidence for all of this is just a pretty loose theory, obviously based off the game, based off of what we've been seeing throughout the whole like life cycle of Black Ops 3 Zombies and all this insane stuff, but at the same rate, it is a theory. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think about this. Hope you guys did enjoy, and yeah, see you guys later.